Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato.
And I'm Mary Spender. Sorry. There we go, an outtake already.
Okay.
I didn't really expect you to start filming.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah. Hi.
Mary, you're a YouTuber. We're not going to use that as an outtake. This will be the beginning of the video. So Mary's here visiting. Everybody, you all know Mary Spender. She's here visiting. Last time that Mary was in town was in January, and we made a video on the greatest two-chord song of all time. Actually, we did 3 songs, even though I said it's the greatest two-chord song of all time. So we're talking about, okay, what are we going to make for a video? Mm-hmm. And I brought up this Jim Croce song, Operator. And Mary is, how old are you, Mary?
32.
Okay, so Mary's 32. But we were talking about lyrics, and I never really talk about lyrics on here, but since I'm with a great songwriter here, we want to talk about the lyrics, and Mary and I love this song. This is a classic, one of the best songs ever written. And somebody emailed me yesterday about it and said, Rick, why haven't you made a video on the song Operator by Jim Croce? And I thought, okay, we'll make a song on Operator. But I always think about this because the lyrics don't really makes sense to people today, young people, because there's things like a dime. This is a dime. Here's my little prop here. So you can see a dime. Actually, you can't see the dime very well.
It's so small.
It's so small. It's a dime. This is what you used to need to make a phone call in here. So Mary called her parents to see how much it used to cost to make a phone call.
And they said sixpence, which
sixpence
supposedly got you 2 minutes.
Yeah, so a dime was about 2 minutes or so. The idea of a phone booth is a really odd thing too. You know, when I was growing up, phone booths were everywhere, right? And then obviously in England, you had your red phone booths, are kind of famous.
We still have them, but they've been turned into little bookshops where you literally you take a book out and then you have to replace the book. Like that's the free for all thing. So this song Operator, I'm going to play it here, this Jim Croce song, but it deals with things like operators. But there's some really interesting lyrical things that Mary was just talking about. But let's play the beginning of the song.
Operator, or could you help me place this call? See the number on the matchbook is old and faded.
Okay, we have matchbooks. We have an operator. Okay, so what is an operator? An operator is somebody that you used to talk to if you needed to make a collect call or something, right?
Possibly not in my era.
Yeah.
But we did have phone booths, and then you would pay before mobile phones, because I didn't get a cell phone, until I was about 15. So, but this was before that. Obviously, most people watching will know or remember, maybe. Or
if you needed a phone number, you could call the operator and they give you a phone number. You give them the name and they would look it up, right? So we have operator. Can you help me place this call? See, the number on the matchbook is old and faded. So matchbooks.
I want to give my number to someone on a matchbook. I'm going to do that.
When's the last time you saw a matchbook?
I don't know. No one smokes anymore.
So matchbooks, you would write things on matchbooks if you were in a bar or someplace, mm-hmm. But this is really idiomatic to the 70s, right? This is already a very 70s lyric. It's a beautiful lyric though, but let's continue to listen.
Living in LA with my best old ex-friend Ray. Gosh, you said you knew well and sometimes hated.
Okay, talk about that lyric, how great that is.
The heartbreak in that, immediately.
Living in LA with my best old ex-friend Ray.
And how her opinion of him when they were together was, she was keeping her distance, but obviously there was some attraction there that then led them to go off.
But Mary pointed out that this is really already, it even starts out at the beginning as a one-sided conversation, right?
Yeah.
The operator doesn't really talk in this.
And we were thinking about the equivalent now. Instead of an operator, we were thinking of joking about, would you be calling Siri?
Can you help me place this?
Alexa?
Well, Siri helps you place the code. You don't even need Siri. You don't even need any of that
Would you be just like...
No, I
making a little
do. If
Instagram
I'm
video?
driving in the car, I'll say, Siri, call Mary Spender, and it will dial Mary.
Is your phone about to start dialing me?
Probably. Actually, it's not. That's funny. Because I call you on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go.
And it won't actually work. Okay, but this is... She's living in LA with my best old ex-friend Ray is such a great lyric.
It's so concise, and the story that it moves through. You know, you immediately know there's history and pain.
And then a guy she knew well and sometimes hated.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is...
It's such a complex idea, and yet I feel like it's very universal. I'm sure most people, if you've had your heart broken, that person has gone off with someone maybe you once knew or introduced them to, just as your friend.
Is it a guy she knew well and sometimes hated?
No, his best old ex-friend.
His best old ex-friend.
So
a guy
he would have introduced
he
them.
knew.
And she would have been like, that guy, he's a so-and-so. And yeah.
So that's her talking to him, about Ray.
Yeah. And then she ran off with Ray. But that's in the first verse.
Right. There's so much information in this verse. It's unbelievable.
And it's a one-sided phone call.
Not to mention the fact that this song is so weird to play because there are so many chords. We were going to try and play it, but...
Yeah, I started giving up the guitar part, and then even Rick was struggling.
I'm not even to the hard part yet. Okay, let's listen on.
Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well.
Oh.
I wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels.
Okay.
That lyric, so I can call just to tell him I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself.
Oh my God. That is...
The insecurity when you're like, I just need to tell that person that I'm doing great. Everyone's done that, and yet you're so not over it.
But
you're
it's so...
still thinking about calling them.
It's so poetic, though, the way he says that.
It's also very there's no anger in any of it.
No.
And it's not sad either yet. And then there's a lyric later where I go, oh, you can finally feel the sadness. It's quite like I'm fine, I'm doing great. I'm cool. I'm doing fine.
Okay, so how does the chorus start there? Isn't that the way
they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that. Give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell him I'm fine, to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels.
So
hey,
that is I got lucky on that. Only one little mistake. So isn't that the way they say it goes?
Well, let's forget all that.
Yeah. And give me the number. If you can find it.
So I can call just to tell him I'm fine. And to show I've overcome. I'm fine. I'm fine with you guys being together. No, seriously,
really,
I'm really great. Methinks he doesn't protest too much.
So... Okay, so we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the guitar work of Maury Muhlenson, about how unbelievably great it is. I mean, that's really the other thing that makes this song beyond Jim's incredible lyric writing, melody, is the guitar fills are unbelievably great, and they make it just even more interesting than it is.
It would be hard to cover without a second guitarist doing
right.
that, wouldn't
it sounds weird when I just am playing when I'm playing the chords without that second guitar part. It really doesn't even work that way. Let's go to the next verse here.
Operator, or could you help me place this call? 'Cause I can't read the number that
let's unpack that line. That's so sad.
Because I can't read the number that you just gave me. There's something in my eyes.
You know
which
what
gives it away.
Yes.
So he's got tears in his eyes.
There's something in my eyes. You know it happens every time. I think about the love that I thought would save me.
Oh,
I mean, that is so...
it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps. Because I can't read the number that you just gave me. And I also think for a man in the 70s to be talking about having tears in his eyes, thinking about his ex-best friend Ray and his girl.
Now, just to put in perspective, Jim Croce's career took off in 1972 with this record, You Don't Mess Around with Jim. And he and Maury passed away in the same plane crash September 20th, 1973, a year later. And he has so many amazing songs. The guy had a greatest hits record that I grew up with. Everyone I knew had Jim Croce's greatest hits because he had so many phenomenal songs. In this short period of time, these couple records that he did are just really...
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
But this very vulnerable lyric there.
I mean, yeah, it's just incredible. Just the imagery in the lyrics. And this guy, he's just there. But he's not emotive yet. Like,
he's singing it very matter-of-factly.
I can't read the number you just gave me. You know, and it's going up and everything. It's not like, it's not miserable.
Well, it's funny because the song is,
song.
yeah, it's in a major key.
Yeah.
It's in G. Chorus here, 2, 3, 4.
But isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell him I'm fine to show. I've overcome the blow, I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels.
So it's a really upbeat chorus, even though the lyrics are really depressing.
But that's the best way. I remember hearing Sarah Bareilles talk about it, where she was like, you can get away with so much if you keep the music upbeat, and you can have the most devastating lyrics in a song and people will be singing it along, being all like happy and upbeat, and then when they listen to it they're like, oh my god, this is something else.
Well, the way that it does is there's so many chord changes there, but they make it sound so effortless when they're playing it.
I know.
But it's
moving through them incredibly fast.
Really fast harmonic rhythm, meaning the chords change very quickly.
Which you just don't hear as much anymore.
But it's so smooth that you don't even notice that they're changing that fast.
It sounds effortless.
Yeah.
And then when you
except
go to
when I'm hacking when I'm hacking along.
Well, I was doing way worse. Also, I'm singing in the original key, so it's not so jarring when we play it. But obviously, this is sung by a man, so I'm very nice and low.
Isn't that the way they say it goes?
Harmony kicks in.
Let's forget all that.
Beautiful harmony.
Give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'll find it to show. I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well.
Love his phrase in there.
I wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels. No.
That's the bridge. Just G to C twice.
That's not the way it feels.
Know what you were saying about the bridge, Mary?
I feel like because he's leaving less gaps between, he's creating these changes that are really subtle. And if you're just listening to it, you're like, oh, then, okay, he's just moving through. But then he's just leaving less space, which I then think leads to something else being a little bit more significant at the end of this verse.
Oh no, that's not the way it feels. Operator, oh, let's forget about this car.
Okay, so this is one time that it actually changes. The bass is going dun, 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 dun. Instead of just hanging on the A minor,
Yeah.
they do that moving line, which is really interesting.
The way it feels.
Right here.
Operator.
Right here.
Well, let's forget about this car. No one there I really wanted to talk to.
Oh. Man.
Thank you for your time. Oh, you've been so much more than kind. You can keep the dime.
That space is significant.
That is.
You can keep the dime.
Once again, the one-sided
Yeah.
conversation, though.
Oh my god.
The operator says nothing, do they?
Well, yeah, they say you.
This
I mean, it's just so emotive in there. Oh, you've been so much more than kind. Like he's being so polite as well.
Yes.
It's very English of him, actually. But I think the change after all the lyrics before that. I think about a love that I thought would save me. Guy she said she knew well and sometimes hated. Like it's and then just to then have half the line. You can keep the dime.
Right.
Because as a listener, you're like, oh, there should be something else there, but it's the storyline is just progressing. It's just beautiful. Which again is just one of those little songwriting tricks, just to move you, because you're missing something as the listener. Because
Right.
you've been used to it before, and then he doesn't do it again.
Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can't find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show overcome the blow. Learn to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels.
Then
It's an extraordinary song.
so sad that his career was cut short. I mean, what a talented songwriter. Some of his other songs, Time in a Bottle, I Got a Name, Have to Say I Love You in a Song. So many phenomenal Jim Croce songs. His greatest, I mean, the guy did a couple records and had a greatest hits record that everybody owned when I was growing up. That says it all there. And I can only imagine what his career would have been had he lived. Mary,
Thanks so much for having me.
always great to have you.
I love how we were just actually making this video without filming, and we were just geeking out about this song.
So follow Mary on her channel if you don't already subscribe to it. But thanks for watching.